What If. So what if
no,
was the
What If?
next?
Really?
Yeah, that came out. That came out in August 2021.
Okay.
So that was it. So that was on Disney Plus.
So that was before Shang-Chi. So Shang-Chi came out in September.
Yeah.
Well, because it ran from August to October. So I think that's how they're placing it.
Okay.
Which is weird because usually they try to keep them separate. They didn't want people to go to a movie and watch on the same time. So they kind of like, here's a show and then movie, show. But it did run through Shang-Chi. So it started in August, ended in October. And I think they're going by the end date.
Gotcha.
What If? What are you giving it, Zach?
B.
You giving it a B?
Yeah. I think that it was uneven. I think that almost I like every other episode. But those last 3 really tied it up and was some of the best MCU action, fantasy, team up stuff that we got in any of the movies or shows. I love the interactions. I love the multiverse feel of all these different characters. It felt like a lot of different comic books that I've read. I just think that some of the What If episodes, like the zombie one, I didn't really care for. It was like, I can't remember like every single episode, but it was just some I felt was weaker than others. And I wish they would have told us that it would tie in the end, because the way they pitched it was, it's anthology, so nothing is together. It's stories like Star Wars Visions. Star Wars Visions didn't tie in to each other at the end. That's what I thought it was going to be. So I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to finish this if it's not going to really be quintessential. But then fucking Vision shows up and fights the Watcher, and then they all team up, and I'm like, ah! So yeah, it gets a B for that.
Yep. B. Okay. And then before Brandon goes, Andy says he's giving it an S tier.
Wow.
And he said Chadwick Boseman's last performance.
Yeah.
As Star-Lord T'Challa. So yeah, which is probably one of my favorite characters. So he was super cool.
It is my favorite character. You know that.
It is, yeah. Definitely just shows you how cool T'Challa is and how shitty Star-Lord is.
He's able to talk him out like, hey, don't worry about that. Come be one of my friends. We're okay.
So what about you, Brandon? What are you giving What If? Right now it's at a B.
Yeah, I was kind of walking the line between A and B. I'm kind of leaning a little more towards A in this case. Just from an artistic standpoint, I loved the animation style, and I really love anthologies, and I love the concept of an anthology when it comes to Marvel. But I think where it really kind of failed for me is, I would have left it as an anthology. By that I mean each kind of episode was kind of self-contained. I didn't need it to I didn't need everything to tie itself back up in the end. I would have been fine with no team up. I would have been fine with just individual episodes, like Twilight Zone / Outer Limits style, like they seem to be going for. I didn't need a payoff in this regard. It would have. You know what? I am changing my mind. This will be a B. That's where it really kind of shot itself in the foot for me, badly. Yeah. If not for that, I would have ranked this easy. This would have been like an A, maybe even close to S, but it really kind of shot itself in the foot in that regard. They should have just left it anthology style as promised individual self-contained episodes. That's where they went wrong for me. Chadwick Boseman killed it though. Chris Hemsworth was having a lot of fun. You could tell, the fact that they brought a lot of the actors back to voice their counterparts. Jeffrey Wright, absolutely incredible as the Watcher. But
he has that voice.
Kind of tying everything back up for a team up just out of nothing but obligation. It felt like that's where they really went wrong for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Brian, so right now it's sitting for two out of B.
I don't know. Maybe I saw the wrong show. I thought What If was fucking amazing. I loved every one of the shows. I loved the comic book feel of it. I loved Jeffrey Wright. I liked the ending because you had to set up Multiverse of Madness. You had to have those characters, and they were too alike to not set it up, knowing that you're going to reuse them in Multiverse of Madness. They had to do that because there's nothing else out there to use. So I had no problems with the ending of it. I said Chadwick Boseman, Star Lord T'Challa was my favorite. I loved Thor in it. I didn't not like any part of it. I thought everything was cool. Even the zombies, I think is going to be a payoff. I really believe the zombies are going to be a payoff very soon.
Well, we're getting a Marvel zombie show.
We're gonna
So
a zombie show.
So it's like there's nothing that was part of this what if that didn't have something to do with setting up something else. And that's what it was all about. And I enjoyed every single part of it. I loved it. So yeah, I'm in the S. So maybe I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I loved it.
So an S and 2 Bs, I don't know, would that like average out as an A maybe? I don't know.
A minus maybe.
Yeah.
The Bs will bring it back down.
Yeah. An S is a lot for me. For me, this is I enjoyed it. It was a lot. It was a lot of fun. It was definitely somewhere in the A-B range.
Like I said, I was kind of walking that line.
Join us.
You know what? No, I'm changing again. A.
Damn it! Damn it!
Because I'm
halfway with S just because you go both with B. So
everything I said still stands though. But I was walking that line. I'll throw it in A.
If they didn't have to do the
wait. If he goes A, then I'm going back down to A. So I don't need to have an S. Because I like WandaVision more. I like WandaVision more, but I just felt like you guys getting a B. There's no way this is not getting an A. So I just had to
messing up the grading, man. Yeah. Now for me, I'm gonna give it an A because I had fun with it almost every single episode. The zombie one was cool. It wasn't the coolest episode. Seeing Agent Carter was cool, stuff like that. The ending, like you said, it didn't need to be there because I feel like knowing these characters existed was enough to set up the Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange movie. But them teaming up together was kind of cool because if anything, because this show proved two things to me. T'Challa is a badass and Killmonger is always a bad guy. So when people were saying like they want to see Killmonger back in it and he should be the king and blah, 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 I'm like, that's stupid. We've shown 2 times in 2 different versions he's a bad guy. Like he's not going to do the good thing.
It also broke down the walls of the multiverse.
Yeah.
That's why the team up had to happen because it broke down the walls. That's what Jeffrey Wright had to bring, and they had to start merging these things so us understanding what Spider-Man and what's going to happen to Multiverse of Madness.
They should have saved that for a movie. That's my only problem. They should have saved that for. I think we know there's a multiverse. You could have said now they interact in No Way Home, and then Doctor Strange is like, this is how it happens. This is how these multiverses interact because we have America. Who can do this without any problems?
Isn't that kind of what they did?
But by teaming up, you already broke that. You already set that up for like No Way Home. You're like, okay, I already know what's gonna happen.
Team up because you already had to team up in No Way Home. I can hear you.
No Way Home. You're gonna have the team up. You're like, oh, so they can interact. And then in Doctor Strange, so it would have built up. Instead, you blew your load in What If, which was cool because that ending was awesome.
Showed up in Multiverse of Madness and not having seen anybody else. That would have been cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't disagree with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So but that ending, that Ultron with the stones was fucking awesome. I would say that was super cool. Yeah. He was like Thanos too, like. Yeah, so that was super cool. Or was it Vision? I guess Ultron.
Yeah, Vision Ultron. Yep.
Both of them together.
Yeah. So I can't be mad at it because that ending was amazing. But it did ruin the upcoming movies where I think you had rumors of big things. You know what I mean? Well, Multiverse of Madness, it was already in the title, but No Way Home, you're all like, is it? Are they? I don't know. You're kind of like. Waiting the whole time, but this flat out said like, oh no, yeah, they can interact. They just bust through invisible walls and boom, now you're over there. Okay. But I did have fun with it. Giving it an
I'm excited for season 2.
Yeah, seriously. Because you could set things up where it makes more sense in the movie. You know, like the whole Infinity Stones thing. Like, oh, Infinity Stones still work, just not in.
It has to be in the right.
Just not. Yeah.
Dimension or whatever. Yeah.
Just like in the
Not even-
comics.
Multiverse.
Yeah. So yeah, there's still a lot of stuff they can get into.